Welcome. Today we are continuing with KCSE 2020 C.R.E. Paper 1 Part 2. Question 4a. Identify 7 ways in which the Israelites disobeyed God during the time of Prophet Amos. 7 marks. The Israelites practiced idolatry. Or you can say the Israelites practiced hypocritical religion. There was murder. The rich oppressed the poor. That is, the rich sold the poor as slaves. There was temple prostitution, or you can just call it sexual immorality. There was use of faulty scales, or you can basically say there was cheating in business. The rich were greedy. That is, they lived in excessive luxury. There was drunkenness in Israel. That is, the Nazarites were forced to drink wine. There was bribery in the law courts. There was robbery. Question 4b. Outline the teachings of Prophet Amos on Israelites' election. 6 marks. Israelites' election was out of God's initiative. That is, it was out of God's love for them. The election made them a holy nation, or rather you can just say the election made them God's chosen nation. Israel was given a special responsibility by God. Failure to meet their responsibility to God would attract God's punishment. God would choose any other nation of Israel if they failed to serve Him. The Israelites were delivered from bondage in Egypt by God because of the election. God had protected the Israelites in the wilderness because of the election. God raised priests and prophets and gave them laws to guide them in the covenant way of life. God gave them land to possess. God led them in the wilderness. Question 4c. Give ways in which the church is promoting social justice in Kenya today. 7 marks. By educating the public on social justice, or you can just say by providing civic education, by holding seminars on social justice, by obeying the laws of the country as laid down by the government, by helping the needy in the society, by preaching on social justice. The church guides and counsels victims of social injustice. The church condemns injustices in the society. The church prays for people to practice social justice, or they also pray for leaders to practice social justice. The church advocates for equal distribution of resources. That is, the church fights for the rights of the less privileged in the society. Members of the church lead exemplary lives by being fair. The church punishes its errant members. The church reports those who commit social injustices to relevant authorities, or you can just say the church exposes the culprits of social injustice. Question 5a. Describe the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem under the leadership of Nehemiah. And this we find in Nehemiah chapter 12, verse 27 to 47. Nehemiah summoned the Levites, or you can just say the priests and the political, to come to Jerusalem to give thanks to God. the sons of the singers gathered around Jerusalem and they sang using musical, they praised God also, they praised using musical instruments. The Levites purified themselves and they also purified the people. The gates, or you can just say the gates and the wall were purified. Nehemiah brought the prince of Judah. He appointed two great groups which went into two processions. One group led by Ezra the scribe went to the right, while the other group led by Nehemiah went to the left. Then they converged in the house of God. The people led by the priests offered sacrifices of dedication to God. And the people, or the women and the children rejoiced. Or you can just say it was a moment of great joy. Nehemiah then chose people who would ensure that the contributions were handled well, or the tithes, or you can call them also offerings. The temple offerings were handled well. And then a service of purification was performed. Question 5b. Give reasons why Nehemiah carried out religious reforms in Judah to preserve the identity of the Jews as the people of God, or to preserve the covenant way of life, to separate the Jews from foreign influence, to purify the temple which had been defiled by keeping a foreigner, to reinstate the services of the Levites as priests in the temple, to restore the tithing system that had been forgotten for the upkeep of the temple, to ensure that the Sabbath day was free from business activities, in order to cleanse the Jews who had intermarried with foreigners, to restore true worship. Question 5c. Identify 7 ways in which the government of Kenya supports the church in its work. 7 marks. The government gives financial assistance for development. The government supports church-sponsored institutions by setting land aside for construction of church facilities. The government allows freedom of worship by availing facilities to host church workshops, by including C.R.E. in the curriculum, that is Christian religious education in the curriculum, by employing some of them as chaplains in the educational institutions and in the armed forces, by organizing national prayer days, supporting leaders in conducting their charitable through the development of infrastructure. The government has granted permission to the church to operate electronic media or electronic stations. The government recognizes the church calendar. Question 6a. State the role of elders in traditional African communities. 7 marks. Elders are custodians of traditional customs. That is, elders teach the history of the community. They make laws in the community. They settle disputes in the community. They fix dates for communal rituals, or they fix dates for the community's ceremony. Elders preside over distribution of property, or rather you can just say they preside over distribution of inheritance. They negotiate for peace with other communities. They advise the members of the community on the steps to take during times of difficulties. They are in charge of the community ceremonies, or they preside over the community rituals. They teach the youth on their responsibilities, or they teach the youth their duties in the community. They punish wrongdoers. They act as spokesmen for their communities, and they are mediators between God and people. Question 6b, outline the requirements that one has to fulfill to be made an elder in traditional African communities. 6 marks. Having the right age, the right specific age. They should be acknowledged. They should be knowledgeable on matters of the community. Or rather, you can say they should be wise. They should be in good health. One should be of good conduct. Should have undergone the rites of initiation or marriage. Should have undergone the rites of initiation. One should have the ability to provide for others. Should be a bona fide member of the community. By undergoing the rituals of becoming a elder, and one should have children. Question 6c, identify 7 factors that are undermining the role of elders in Kenya today. Most judicial duties have been taken over by the courts. Modern religions, like for example Christianity, have established their own leadership systems. Western education this is whereby when they are learned, they no longer value the elders. There is also urbanization has made people move away from their communities. Western culture, which promotes individualism, intermarriages has weakened the value of elders. The laws that are made in parliament are applied. Influence from modern technology where people rely on it for information. Wealth is taken as a symbol of status regardless of one's age, and there is also moral decadence. Permissiveness, which is too much freedom. Did you understand? Kindly let me know in the comment section. Let me also know what video I can look at tomorrow. Thanks a lot for subscribing and listening to me. God bless you.